Friendly salutations to viewers and coins of the vault alike. I am Tatsumari, the self-proclaimed keeper of Maple Story lore and stories alike. There are many who do it, but I am the only one who does it like me. Ha 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 ha! So tonight, really, at least for me, I don't know about the rest of you, but it is night for me. We are going to be going into Satisfactory, and we are going to be having some fun, where we are going to have story submissions by you, the viewer, and the coins of the vault, read live on stream. Now, these little stories are going to be from this story prompt right here. And if you think you can, if you previously have a story written for this story prompt, by all means, you can use the channel reward down below to get my attention, at least for those of you on Twitch, and have your story read live on stream. For those of you on YouTube, just put a bunch of messages and say, hey, over here, look at me, and we'll be able to get your story read live on stream. In the meantime, in the background, I will be playing Satisfactory while we're waiting for story submissions. Currently still working on our aluminum factory. We are in the, I shall say, the final quarter of getting it all put together, I think. And we should have everything up and running shortly so we can continue moving on, building our factory world run by trains. Ha ha ha. But, yeah, that is what we are currently doing. And I hope you're all at least mildly entertained by what you saw. If you want to make sure you never miss a stream or whenever I go live, be sure and hit that follow or subscribe button down below to become a coin in the vault and never miss a thing. So, before we get too much further, though, those of you on Twitch, we need to have a little ad break, because without it, I would not be able to do what I do. So, and it would be very much more boring without me in the world. So, what's going to happen is for those of you who are immune to ads on Twitch, and for those of you on YouTube, you will see me convene with my dragon brethren as we discuss tales and stories and the like. And for those of you who aren't immune to ads, at least over on Twitch, you will kind of just have to deal with it for a little while. And then you'll be back quite quickly. So, yeah, we're going to do that. And don't go anywhere. We shall be back after these massages. Alrighty, we are finally back into the game over here. So, as you can see, I am not over at the aluminum factory right now. Currently, I am trying to work out an issue where a couple of my trains went kaboom, so I had to put them back on the rails, and in doing so, everything has kind of gone all over the place. So, over there, over on YouTube, Jeannie Claire, welcome to the vault. If you subscribed, you are the new shiny coin, and yeah, new shiny coin, and I hope you're at least mildly entertained by what you see from here on out. Uh-oh, autosave, there we go. Now, I have been playing this for a while this afternoon in trying to get everything done. But it hasn't gone exactly according to plan for all this cool stuff. So, yeah. But we are almost there. We almost have the entire aluminum factory up and running. I just have a few more smelters to get up and running so that I can get the aluminum casings up and running. And then the entire aluminum factory will be online. Yay! So, yeah. All right, let me get over here to the Traveler, my personal engine of choice. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this up to the aluminum. You know what? No. Confirm. Okay, so what we're going to do, give me a second here. I am going to start a brand new, for those of you on Twitch, I am going to start a game of, what's it called? Bingo. So this time, rather than just turning on the autopilot, I'm going to be driving the train. Who knows? We'll see how many times I crash it on the way up to the aluminum factory. Hopefully none, but, you know, we never know. So how's everybody doing this evening? Morning, day, whatever time it is for you. How are you doing? Right? Okay. Here we go. Oh boy. Okay. So we want to keep going to the left. Make sure we don't crash in anything. Hopefully. Yay. So far we haven't crashed. We're doing good. We're doing good. So far. Uh-oh. No. No. Okay. Whew. I thought that train was coming right at me. You'll be like, no! We're starting off the stream with a train crash. So, to make it look, I gotta ask, to make it more entertaining with the bingo, to keep it, like, I guess, keep it fresh, keep it going, what other things would you guys suggest on there? So that way there are more stuff that happens to have fun with. At least for those of you watching on Twitch. We have rabid humanoids, which ironically have no middle ground. It's either transport rabbit face to bipedal frame or men with floppy ears. It's annoying. Aha! And is this for a story of yours you're working on? Mama Rednecks? By the way, welcome to the stream. And hello to everybody over on YouTube. I wonder, how are you doing this evening? How are you? I don't know why suddenly I changed into that accent. I don't know why, it just seemed like fun. How is everybody doing over on YouTube? Hopefully you're having a great time. And who knows, maybe we're going to have some crashes. Maybe we're going to have some mishaps along the way. But yes, also, at any time, for those of you who would like, you can start the submissions at any time for story reading, if you so desire. Let there be words. Let there be stories. Let there be legends. There we go. Okay. So now we are going to send this home. Leave it here, it's gonna clog up the station. So we had yeah, I got those. Was it Suonova that was saying that when I'm activating my jetpack over here, it looks like a baby bird like flapping their wings? All right. Well, anyways, as we're doing this and as we're building the factory and reading stories, I hope you're all very satisfactory. You find it all very satisfactory. All righty. Okay, so you know what? We're gonna start a tradition here on these streams. It is a running joke with one of my streamer friends. His name is Yoon Soo, which, you know, now that I think about it, let's see if I remember how to do his thing. There we go. It's a running joke that anytime anybody says his name on their stream, he will inevitably pop up. Well, so far, I have done that, and he has not appeared. So we're gonna make it a new tradition for streams from here on out. And when I do, I will at least say his name once, Yoon Soo. And until he shows up, we shall keep a running tab of how many times he hasn't showed up. So you know what? We got to go back to the main house for this. So we're going to do this quickly. Yeah, got it. The reboot screen. All right. Well, that's going to be for that. I'll have to see if I can research that later. I might have to talk to you about it later, and we'll see about it. But for now, we are going to make ourselves a gigantic... We're going to make ourselves a... What's the big, huge... Was a Jumbotron, I think it is. TV screen, I think it's called. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Is it this one? There it is. We're going to have ourselves a Jumbotron here. And we're going to keep a running count for Yoon Soo of how many times he hasn't shown up. So when I say it. So let's see. What do we want to represent him here in the game? Because I can't really use, without mods, I can't really use his symbol over here. Alright, let's see. What do we want? Do we do a radioactive symbol? Sun? Let's see. What have we got here that would be a sun? Or how about a radioactive barrel? How about a barrel of plutonium waste? How would that... How about that? To represent Yoon-soon. Oh, by the way, pens! I forgot to say, hey, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? We got we got plutonium waste, or no, uranium waste. I think we also have plutonium waste. We have a, oh, what are those things called? And that's a Sommer sloop. This is a Mercer sphere. Let's see. Oh, here we go. That kind of looks like a sun, doesn't it? It's called Fixonium. It's a very late game item, and it is extremely radioactive. So we shall use this for Yoon-soo. All right. So, and then what we want to do is we're going to take this and we're going to turn it red. All right. Times Yoon-soo did not appear. 1. All right. So, there it is. We have the Jumbotron for Yoon-soo. Times Yoon-soo did not appear. 1. And so begins the count. Yo, doing well. Sorry for missing Wednesday. Currently trying to make myself do my daily writing after spending most creative energies on drawing. Hey, that's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about missing the stream, or don't worry about missing stuff. This is it's all good stuff. Okay, so yes, we have the Jumbotron. Times Yoon-soo did not appear. 1. And when he does appear, we shall reset that count to 0. All right, so now, being that we're back here at home, we get to drive the train back up to the aluminum factory and possibly crash the train again. Yay! Oh, I thought there was a train coming. It was like, oh no, there's a crash coming. But yeah, I'll definitely talk to you later about that Mama Rednecks. We'll see if we can get a counter going. And until Yoon-soo appears, see how long we can keep the joke going. Because he has popped in a couple times with other raids. But he himself, I do not believe, has popped in of his own choosing. So if he does pop in with a raid, I'm not going to count that. He has to pop in of his own choosing. Sound fair? Attendance when called. Or not necessarily called, but summoned. And I can just imagine it now. You know, we ought to make a thing just for him. Uh-oh. Aha! I avoided a crash. Oh well. But we ought to make a thing for him, just for him, that would, like, just make it an understood thing that only he can redeem it on my channel. And then it'll be, what is it, Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, where he's saying, I cannot be summoned like some mongrel pup. Hey, don't worry, Pants, I'm in there too, so... We'll keep this joke here on my channel, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll make it a thing. I'll see if I can make a reward that for him to redeem anytime he pops in if he wants to. It's Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's I think he's talking to Lord Beckett, and he's like, I cannot be summoned like some mongrel pup. That'd be funny. Get to your final destination. Your final destination. I need to redeem a thing. Hey, don't worry. It's at any time. There is no, like, specific spot. Of course, it might be kind of loud, so that's probably why. Go ahead and turn on the self-driving, get out of the train, so we can do some stuff. You don't get to tell me when to push a button. I push the button. No, you push the button. I see. Is that how it is? Well, fine. I know what I'm not wanting.
Look!
Alrighty! We have our first submission of the evening. Let me get over here and get myself a workbench so that we can stare at while we're doing a thing. We are doing Flagship Humanity. Alright, cool. Maybe that should be the next prompt. A bright red button. You might be onto something, Pans. You just might be onto something, because this is going to be the last week that this story prompt is going to be here. So, no, I'm vulnerable to buttons. That's also what Eleanor says sometimes, but we'll see. All right. So, let me get a window over here. Let's, oh, yeah, close that too. Looks like so. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay. So get this over here. We'll click at this thing. Push the dragon button. All right, so let's get over into the writing office as soon as I can find where it is. There we go. Then click on this, click buttons, make the magic happen. Yes, yes, yes. Nope. Didn't want that to happen. Okay. Okay, come on. Stop being stupid. And just do the thing. All right. Make a small adjustment there for those of you on YouTube. Okay. So, this is Flagship Humanity by Mama Rednax. When the Intergalactic Governance Coalition came to Earth, we were relieved that they landed in Headley. The small village in Surrey seemed perfect for hosting a first encounter with extraterrestrial life. At least, the British are excellent at putting their best foot forward in social settings. When the Coalition requested volunteers to spread an understanding of humanity throughout the galaxy, I thought it would be amazing. I'd be a celebrity, teaching aliens all about us. Coming from a small rural town in Alabama, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Oh, wait, okay. I get it now. Wrong accent. Professor Orley, a female avian-style alien, is my host for the 17 months I'll spend at the Institute. Her course is about to end when I arrive, and this is my first station shift in the classroom. At the center of the lecture hall, she sets out a human-sized chair on a desk larger than most concert stages. Suddenly, I feel less like a celebrity and more like a goldfish in a bowl.
And that, class,
Professor O'Reilly concludes,
is why humanity is the most peaceful, reasonable, cooperative, and overall docile species in the universe. Does anyone have questions for our Terran ambassador?
I raise my hand and murmurs ripple through the several hundred aliens seated on the rising tiers in front of me. Professor Orley turns with what might be surprise on her face. Maybe. She makes that face at me a lot.
Case in point, Terrans are instinctively predisposed to submission to authority,
the professor says, wings splayed out, showcasing my behavior. My behavior. I snatched my hand back down. That did not help this situation. Professor Orley, ma'am, that isn't true. Humans are stubborn, violent, and greedy, too. I shift uncomfortably in my seat as hundreds of eyes, many of them from the same being, stare at me. She gives me the look I gave my dog Brax whenever he did something dumb.
See the shift in my body,
she says to the class.
The acknowledgement of authority and the impulsive use of an honorific. Even when presenting an opposing view, Terrans select a docile mode of conflict resolution.
Obeying midway up the seating tiers raises what I think is a tentacle. The synthetic voice in my ear translates the question.
Professor O'Reilly, how do Terrans survive predation if they selectively reside with predatory species?
An excellent question for the ambassador,
Professor O'Reilly proclaims.
Ambassador, could you enlighten us as to how members of the family Felidae select Terrans?
A cat? I ask, confused by the word order. Cats don't select humans. I mean, I guess some do, but a human typically goes to a shelter or gets one from a friend.
A shelter, class, is a rehabilitation center which specializes in the care of two prominent predators identified by Terrans as Canis lupus familiaris and Felis catus. While other predatory species are present, Terran societies are dominated in large part by these two species.
That's not how... The words die before I even finish my sentence. That technically isn't wrong. When I chose Brax from the shelter, it was primarily because he wagged his tail after sniffing my fingers. Then there was the application, the adoption fees, and all the supplies I bought just to bring him home. I'm glad I stopped talking. Another appendage rises from the front row. A webbing secures a liquid-filled faceplate around the alien's head, making me think it doesn't breathe air. The liquid distorts its features as its mouth moves. I don't ever hear anything, but my translator apparently does.
Terrans leave their familial pods, only to form cohabitation pods with non-familiar members. Could the ambassador explain that process and purpose?
My mind races to decipher the question, but the only thing I can connect it to is to roommates. I resist hanging my head in defeat. I don't want to explain how roommates function. Not having a roommate was one of the benefits of joining this program. Professor O'Reilly gives me that look again before addressing the class.
I have personally seen these cohabitation pods. While the selection process varies, the vast majority form collaborative arrangements due to resource scarcity. Territorial disputes and resource allocation are resolved through adhesive declaration treaties.
Is she seriously talking about passive-aggressive sticky notes? My last roommate had stuck them to everything they bought. I guess that qualifies as territorial disputes. Professor O'Reilly, humans are violent. We create weapons capable of killing people on the other side of the world, I argue. We are anything but helpless.
Ambassador, Terrans are reasonable, cooperative, and docile by nature. Peace is not made by species incapable of violence.
She turns and faces the class.
The final for this cycle will require attendance at the Coalition Ratification Assembly, where the Terran Protection and Conservation Act will be formally enacted.
Conservation Act? I ask, suddenly feeling like maybe I should have tried harder to make my point.
Of course,
Professor O'Reilly chides.
Earth will be designated a protected habitat as the only environment capable of ensuring the continuation of Terrans and their delicate existence.
I'm about to argue that last point, but Professor O'Reilly is already engaging with another student.
When does the immersion program begin?
A serpent-like alien hisses. The translator pauses between words as the alien's tongue drags out syllables.
Due to the Rakra incident, when an undetected mental influence caused an immersion participant to provoke an interplanetary war,
Professor O'Reilly says sharply.
The Coalition will no longer support in-habitat observation. Terrans will remain isolated from intergalactic trade networks and exchange programs. Terrans are too rare to alter, too cooperative to exploit, and too unpredictably dangerous to release into intergalactic society. Instead, flagship specimens such as our ambassador will be brought to institutions under strict interaction protocols. The Terran Protection and Conservation Act will preserve Terran life within the environmental and cultural systems that regulate it.
My jaw drops open. I wanted to be a celebrity. I didn't realize I'd volunteered to be a talking exhibit. All right, Mama Rednecks. Thank you. That was extremely, as soon as I can get the buttons going, that was extremely satisfactory. So, as I was kind of reading it, I gotta ask, was the professor's name actually O'Reilly and not O'Reilly? Because if so, again, big clappies from me. Because the entire time I'm doing that, if indeed the name is supposed to be O'Reilly, the entire time I'm thinking, O'Reilly! Auto parts. Ow! entirely joking. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. All right, I get it. I'm sorry. It was too perfect to pass up. But all right. So they're basically not listening. So if that is indeed the case, how would you continue with it? Would the main character, the ambassador, would they just like continue to fight and say,
No, we're not like that. No, we're not like that. No, we're not like that.
and then they finally don't listen, they push it. They end up pushing humanity too far, like through her, and they're like, okay, that's it. Basically do the whole thing. All right, you asked for it, and then like roll up their proverbial sleeves, and before you know it, they're getting pummeled into the ground by some like dreadnought class capital ship. Got itchy nose all of a sudden. All right here. Oh, well, I don't know what that yawn. Basically, the ambassadors are the animals that go around to visit school children to expose them to the world. Okay, so the like anthropomorphic animals, I guess you could say, or the ambassadors are the animals that go around. I think I might be misunderstanding that. So, like, kind of based on what I heard in the story, they're thinking that the pets, like dogs and cats, are the ones. What the heck is going on here? Huh, had a sound glitch there. The coalition is afraid that either A, human culture will go back to the dark times, or B, they'll organize the universe like the PTO. We think dogs and cats will have some humans make treaties with it. Okay, I see. So, at least from your, the way your story is going, basically all the aliens are anthro species, correct? Houses without animals? What do they think about goldfish? That's a good question. Wait, goldfish the animal or goldfish the snack? Because that is the snack that smiles back goldfish. I can just imagine if they come across a goldfish that is like somebody's pet, and like they're trying to communicate it with it, and then it's like, this creature shows absolutely no intelligence whatsoever. How do they survive? Hold, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to feed the snack to some random alien kid. meet a British family with a cat or a small dog. Is it really hard to make? I guess depending on where you're, what civilization you come from initially. That's the output. I want the input. Imagine giving a small alien kid Kool-Aid. And it's like, what is this? Yeah, but, you know, give them red Kool-Aid and tell them it is blood of your enemies. Or it's the blood of your enemies. And then you say, yeah, there's a guy that runs around our entire country, and he is filled with the blood of our enemies. And when we are really thirsty, he bursts through the wall and he goes, "Oh yeah!" And we get a bunch from him, and we all drink it. I'm going to become convinced he's our god.
Why does this liquid come in different colors? It's the blood of our enemies.
It's the blood of our enemies. They travel around the universe collecting it. Of course we would give them the red Kool-Aid. Or, no, you give them the red Kool-Aid, and instead of telling them it's the blood of our enemies, tell them it's the excess blood we get rid of. And that we store it, and that after a while we need to pick it back up, or ingest it again so we don't run low on blood. Lucidor! Welcome, welcome, how are you doing? Yeah, you dropped in on a very strange conversation, talking about how we're comparing blood to red Kool-Aid. You're talking about we just got finished with Mama Rednax's submission for the story prompt, and now we got on the conversation of trying to explain. Very falsely explain that red Kool-Aid is the blood of our enemies, or it's excess blood that we get rid of, and that we save it so we can ingest it later. Also trying to explain to some alien kid what goldfish the snacks are. That they are not indeed iron-pressed or pressed actual goldfish. With writing the next wave of homebrew cracked magic gear for the D&F game. D&F. You'll have to refresh my memory of what D&F is. The first part is like I can guess is probably. Oh. Oh, that's actually kind of funny. Like, instead of Dungeons and Dragons, it's Dungeons and Factories. Finish my plans for my session tomorrow. Oh, nice. Yeah. I actually have a DNF is just the dragon version of what they play. Oh, God. Dungeons and flying spaghetti monsters. Alright. So do we have all the inputs? Make sure I have, oh nope, I don't have all the belts, no! We need to be able to feed the spaghetti in there! A bit accurate, or the biblically accurate to every DM. Oops. Okay, I do have that. I had that one, but I don't have this one. Well, for some reason. Dungeons and frick the plan for this. You know, one time, I was speaking of plans. I know it's kind of a rule I've seen, well, not really a rule, but like I guess you say an unwritten rule that says if you explain a plan, like if the plan explaining happens on screen, it will fail. You know what I would like to see? Just to mess with people. Explain the plan, quote unquote, on screen and have it succeed. You know? Just to screw with people. And then, like, I can only imagine that you're gonna get a bunch of comments of angry writers going out there going,
No! You explain the plan on screen, it has to fail!
no, it doesn't. It's my story. The plan never survives first contact because the dice will always choose usually the funniest thing ever. Right? Alright. So yeah, we did have our first story submission of the evening. It was by Mama Rednecks. So, yeah. Let the submissions continue if anybody else has one. Oh yeah, that's right. I thought, Written by Liv was going to try to get in on it this time. But I don't know if she's in chat or not. I'm sorry, Leonard Snart is correct. There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan. Follow my lead, and you'll be fine. But even still, you know, just to screw with people, I want somebody to write a story that has explaining the plan on screen, quote unquote on screen, and it succeeds. Gonna play some Ultra Kill, but brain way too melted to try comprehend anything happening on this screen with this game. I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, so are these? Okay, these are going. That way. Okay, yeah. But, you know, write it in such a way to where it looks like the plan is going to fail, but it still succeeds. You know, do the whole build-up to where the plan is going to absolutely, completely fail, but it succeeds spectacularly. Just to see, you know, make some angry writing snob completely angry that they didn't get their failed plan. Kind of like another thing was pleasantly surprising. Let's put it that way. Has anybody seen Pacific Rim, the first one? The second one doesn't exist. The first one. What, mate? What are you talking about? Yes, there are two. Don't go see. Whatever you do, don't see the second one. It's not me personally. It's not that I think it's bad. It just it loses a little something in the second one. And there are people out there who will like tell you exactly what the whole thing is. And while I can agree with them, at the same token, just me personally, there's just something that doesn't fit right. Okay. So did you see Pacific Rim Uprising or Pacific Rim? If it had a sub-name, then that's the second one. Okay, alright. So, let me ask you this. In the one that you saw, was there a bunch of giant robots that went to destroy a breach? Or was there a big alien monster that was created from an amalgamation of other monsters? I guess I should ask, what do you remember happening in the movie? Because based off of that, I can probably tell you which one it was you saw. By the way, is the game volume too loud for you guys? Or is it okay? Giant robots that went to destroy a kaiju. Okay, that's... Unfortunately, that happens in both movies. Let's see. Did one of the giant robots have... I wasn't paying that much attention. Oh, okay, fine. Anyways, the point being, at the end of Pacific Rim, have never seen Okay. Okay, so have any of you ever heard of what's the classic one? Gundam. Have any of you ever heard of Gundam? Okay. Well, think of like those kind of robots, like those robots, but like 3 times bigger, piloted by 2 people, taking on giant monsters that are just about as big, if not bigger, than the robots. That's basically what Pacific Rim is, and it is one of the coolest movies out there. And it has one of the coolest, my own opinion, one of the coolest theme songs that is ever to theme song for Pacific Rim, or for an action movie like that. It just, even the song itself has weight. It hits hard, and it's just like, yeah. Yeah, it's worth the watch. Anyways, at the end of the movie, well, let me back up. Right about the first third of the movie, they kind of do the whole anime thing where the main chick of the series ends up seeing the main guy of the series shirtless, and, you know, does the whole, like, sparkly eyes thing where, like, ooh. And then she quickly closes the door because, oh no, he noticed that I was looking at him. They put a lot of flags on it saying, yeah, these 2 are going to be the main ship. And at the end, they even have a section where they tease it so hard, where it's going to be like this big emotional kiss, but they don't do it. And it still ends up okay, and it recontextualizes the whole movies of their interaction. But it's still very satisfying. So the point being that what the heck is going on? Why is everything backed up? Okay, that's that. What are you doing way over there? You stupid. All right. Well, I'll have to unstuckify everything here in a minute. Why are we suffering from a scrap shortage? Probably because we are suffering from a coal shortage. Do we have coal for manufacturing? We do, but we do not have coal for running our generators. So we'll get those going again, and then I'm going to go unstuck a thing. Boing, a boing, a boing, wee. do a little jetpack two-step here. So just for conversation here, guys, what is a movie storyline that you have watched that you would take and rewrite a little differently or in a different way? Now, with that being said, keep in mind that if you were to do the spicy, you probably can't say it here on Twitch or YouTube, so. But of the movies you have seen, what is one that comes to mind just right off the top of your head that you would rewrite a little? Does franchises count? We'll stick with single movies, like, for now. And then we'll maybe expand it to franchises a little later in the stream. But for now, single movies. What is one movie you have seen that you would rewrite either the entire thing or a particular scene different? Not for this particular conversation. Maybe a little bit later, but for this particular conversation, no. Okay, well, if you do watch mostly series, then what is one episode for you? What is one episode you would rewrite? Okay, and we do have an ad break coming up here. So for those of you immune to ads, stick around and continue the conversation. If you aren't immune to ads, well, you'll be back shortly. And those is for those on Twitch, by the way. Let's turn you off and let's get you out of here. Having stupid dreams. Okay. Okay, so I'll save more of the conversation for after the ad break is over, so that way, in case anybody has got stuck in ads, they can actually hear me what I'm saying. But yeah, this for those of you who are immune to ads on Twitch, and for those of you on YouTube too, you can get in on this conversation too if you want. Well, I have I Am Legend. Absolute wrong title and association. Okay. Yes, please ignore the thing. Oh, I guess it's covering up the thing so you can't see what's going on. Hey, ignore the thing you don't see. Please ignore the little man behind the green curtain. Okay, so now that we are back from ads, to Pan's point, me personally, I am only aware of Power Rangers at most. I have never seen them. Like, I never watched them religiously enough to really get involved with the storylines. I have many friends that have, and who are much more involved with the actors, with the storylines, with the stuff that happened. As someone who was not a part of that whole era, I'm kind of stuck in the middle here because I liked it as a movie, but I kind of like, I'm not trying to disprove a point. This is just kind of my point of view of stuff that happens with it. So the whole 90s aesthetic to it would no longer fit. And at least the aesthetic that came up with, the wild and bonkers thing, especially since they had every single person who was a Power Ranger, they're constantly showing up in formation. You ever notice that? So I thought it was, at least for my sake, it was entertaining. Whether it was a bad or good one, I cannot argue the point, because I was not part of the original one. But for me, it was a good one. But if there was one thing, we'll stick it to one, because you have made a very strong point over here. You have notes, plural, probably notebooks of them. If there was one thing you could change about that movie that would make it better, what would it be? Vampire series says and execute the one of the last two. Okay. And yeah, I have heard that point brought up multiple times. I have neither seen the movie nor read the book, so I cannot argue that point either. But if you were to keep the movie I Am Legend, what title would you give it instead? Or what would you change? What one big thing about that movie would you change? Okay, right. And yeah, I'm not going to make a point because I can't really argue the point. At least I cannot argue the point well. Let's put it that way. All So we are burning water, we are burning coal, yay, 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 we're making power. Whoop-de-doo here. Okay. So now we got the plug unplugged. So let's get back over here to do stuff. So it pans to your thing. Would the change you make, would you make all of their suits brighter on colors? Star Fox Adventures. Okay, yeah, and I've heard things about. I am very well aware of that game. I have not played it. Well, I should take that back. I did play it a little bit as a kid, but that was because I didn't have a console, and I had to do the whole, you know, go to Toys R Us for half an hour and try to convince my parents to let me stay an extra 10 minutes so I could, you know, look directly up at the camera for a while and get a crick in my neck. While trying to play it. Such a letdown. Okay, alright. Alrighty. So we have all the outputs hooked up. Outputs and outputs. Okay. Yes, we have outputs hooked up. So what we are going to do here, we are going to take the power cables and we are going to move them from place to place here. If I did anything to the suit, it would need to be a full redesign. It would make it the OG 90s suits, but it need to be something other than that recolored monstrosity. Okay. So, this is me going to play as one creator on Instagram that I've heard say it. I'm going to play Devil's Avocado here. And again, this is just coming from an outsider's perspective. The suits remove the entire thing about the helmets having their dinos on them. The few that have them are just bland recolors. Okay. I kind of got the impression, and again, this was me. Just take this as one stupid person with a cartoon face on on stream opinion. It looked like to me that, or it always felt to me that the originals, yes, they did have the whole suits and they had the whole dinosaurs on them. Okay, cool. However, it also felt like what they were trying to do is make the suits to be actual armor rather than just brightly colored primary color leotards. So, and again, this is coming from someone who really wasn't really part of the whole thing. So, my opinion is probably only worth a penny because, you know, we got rid of the pennies all of a sudden. So it's not worth much. And another thing that was, and yes, I know they did get rid of, like, the whole dinosaur shape of it. But again, this is to me. This, to Tatsu. Not, I do not have any film experience whatsoever. So, again, my opinion is only worth, like, the point 0.04% or 0. Not even worth a cent. Not even worth a penny. Not even worth the cent the pennies are. The originals, even as a kid, I kind of felt like that the originals, all they were there to do was sell toys. And the reason that they had the dinosaur aesthetic or all the stuff on them is so that it would be more toy-like. You don't know where to look at all. There is too many design elements. It looks, they tried to do a decent U with slight Iron Man vibes. What you see with spandex, you should at least be part of that vibe. On your thing about the armor, that wasn't even close to functional armor. You want the cool-looking semi-functional power armor. Just the Psycho Rangers. It's good Power Ranger suit with armor. Okay. And yeah, like I said, my opinion's not worth much, so don't put much stock in it. Bed, my brain just rewrote the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. The devil tried to go to Georgia and got lost in Tennessee. Okay. Well, Lucilor, thanks for stopping by. Go get some rest. Have sweet dreams. And may Falcor visit you. So anyways, overall thing, Pans, I think I either missed it or I wasn't paying attention, but let's see. Let me look back in chat over here. Okay, I see. Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention. So for you, Pans, it would be a redesign of the costume. Is that what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing over here? Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. That I completely understand that part. So yeah. But again, like I said, this is one stupid person's opinion. We want to bring down. Oops. Yeah, there we go. no. What is... You're kind of dancing around the question here, Pants. What is one thing that you would change, and how would you do so? I did not I did not ask for a laundry list of what you thought was wrong. I asked you what you thought was wrong, how you would fix it. So many smelters going. You know, I think it sounds kind of loud to me, so I'm going to turn it down for you guys a little bit. It might be a little loud for you guys. Over some tacos. Tell them to put hot sauce on it. Alright, so let's see. Oh no! We have it in a bad spot.
No, we don't want to go there.
Let's see. Dude, I drown mine in hot sauce. And a funny one. The funny one, because the real one is going to take a minute to type out. The funny one, get rid of that. Insert million swear words. Krispy Kreme. Okay. Sure. Oh, I was supposed to laugh. Okay. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud. A little bit differently then. What we're going to do instead is we're actually going to have them coming back in the other direction. And still kind of no. Which way are these things going? They're going that way. Now! Don't worry about it. You said the thing is like, okay, I don't get it, but that's a thing you would change. Okay, cool. Moving on. Alright. Let's see. You know what? What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna move it to over here. Okay. So then you instead taking here. If there was one movie that you would have to make a next for, what would it be? Are you asking me or are you asking Pans? Anyway. Alright. One movie for a sequel. And I'm guessing you're asking how I would write it, too? Or how they would write it or whatever? Well, the problem is, all the movies that I would make a sequel for already have sequels. Let's see. 3, 6. Yep. So, if I had to write a sequel for a movie. What would I pick? I have to kind of said next, not sequel. So, what's the difference between a next and? Well, I guess we'll kind of wait for you to get to a spot. Where you can answer it a little bit more detail. But so, how are you? But the question I am having is, how are you classifying a next? Are you meaning like next generation, or are you talking about something else entirely? Because whatever number is next. So yeah, a sequel. Like whatever sequel is on the list, you know, if it's 2, 3, 4, or 5, it's still a sequel. They might still call it a sequel. But of course, you know, I have about as much intelligence as a marshmallow, so it don't mean much. Let me see. If I had to do a next, I know suddenly I'm snapping back to reality because I'm looking over here at my movie library trying to get a picture of what I would do. I would. Ooh, suddenly very sleepy. I would probably try to do a sequel for either Hancock, or I would probably try to do a sequel for Inception. Neither Hancock or Inception. What I would do for that, for the Hancock is the one with Will Smith, who plays basically the amnesiac superhero. I would have it where at least because in the first one, it was said that Will Smith and whatever her name was in the movie, I can't remember what her name was. They were the only two surviving creations by the gods or something like that. So I would make it to where show the movie many years later, you know. Her now husband has pretty much has aged out. He's died. And say it's many centuries later. Maybe not centuries, but many decades later. To where they seek each other out again. And active heroism is the core message of the original power. The movie quite literally doesn't have Rangers do anything properly heroic until the end of the movie. The only thing before that could call heroic, so the Rangers gave up the location of the Zeo crystal to Rita. For context, the Zeo crystal keeps literally entire of the planet alive. And it is because it's the only way to save their friend. While the movie should still be allowed to touch more serious topics, just like the show, so we'll keep building death, survival, allow itself to show the characters as proper teenagers. Most of the time, we see them being stupid or fighting amongst themselves, their families, which is a huge trope. Most of the kids in the show had great relationships with their parents, even willingly releasing powers at one point to save them. The monsters between 20 and 30 total scenes in the movie. And yet, the only time the characters interact or talk to the teenagers is a single scene just before their final act. That was what would change. Let the Rangers feel like teenagers and not adults stuck in high school who still live with their parents. Okay. To that point, again, playing a little devil's avocado here. And from what I know, it sounded like what they tried to do is stuff the entire first season down to a 2.5-hour movie, which never ends well. So that's probably why things got so messy there. Or it's at least a factor in it. Yeah, at least that's what I like to think. Anyways. But yeah, okay. Cool. So there's your fix for that. And kind of going back to what I was talking before with Hancock, how I would write the next. What's going on here? Why is nothing happening? Because they don't have inputs. That's why. I would still have them like a few decades later. The chick has had her life, you know, the kids have moved on, they're like the great grandkids are now adults now. And then maybe have them come back together, try to get back together. And maybe have it in such a way, I wouldn't know exactly how to do it, but have it in such a way to where them getting together was like they're the last of the previous generation of these created beings, and like it wouldn't be stated through this, but like in the last thing, to where like it says, you know, decades later after they get together, because in Hancock it was said that these created beings by the gods, they were supposed to get, like, you know, they'd do all their heroic deeds, but then they were supposed to find each other, and they became mortal, allowing them to die. Well, what if Hancock and his other half, they were supposed to die way back, but no, it's good, it's fine. You know, I asked for it. Let's see, yes and no, they barely use any of the show lore. In fact, what lore they did use spanned like 7 seasons. For example, the Zeo crystal is completely different. In the show, it was simply a power source, which they used as the Rangers. This does bring the question on how that would be adapted to be given the lore for it. Tried to do something it wasn't, and the real soul power. Rangers in the show. Okay. So, let's see. Continuing on what I was saying. How I would do it is they would get together. And they were meant to end like way back in Greece, you know, when the gods created these humans. Or like they were supposed to be gone many centuries ago. But because of circumstances, they ended up being the last ones, and they kept that generation of heroes, gods, superheroes, whatever you wanted to call it, or whatever they called it, going well beyond what should have been actually there. And maybe I don't know, somewhere along the way there could be some information revealed that they weren't necessarily the first ones to be created like this, that there were other generations of these created beings before them. And like, let's say they were like the 3rd generation or something like that. And what would happen is the gods would create these beings. They would be around for a little while to be the heroes that a certain time needed them to be. And then once that time was over, they would come together, they would become mortal, and then they would end up dying off. So that like the next generation of these heroes could come in. But because Hancock and his girl survived well beyond when they were supposed to, that current generation just kept continuing on and on and on. And maybe there's some other rules in there somewhere that says that a new generation of these created beings cannot commence until the previous generation is gone. So with Hancock and his girl still surviving, they were the last remnants of this generation. And so the new generation couldn't start until they were gone. So when they did finally die, they die off, there could be a thing to where maybe sometime later down the road, like it says, like many centuries later or something like that, have a whole Darling in the Franxx situation where many, many thousands or hundreds of years later, they're reincarnated and they find each other. And they're like, do I know you from somewhere? Like maybe have some lingering pieces from their previous life or something like that that would kind of hint that they were supposed to get together with each other and continue the cycle. Anyways, I'm not 100% sure that's what... That sounds decent. Again, that's just off the top of my head. But that's what I would do for that. So, hopefully that all made sense. Okay, so we have 4 here. All right, so we need 2 more. I'm gonna put you this way. I'm gonna put you this way. Grab you. And then we're gonna turn you around. And then we're gonna take you, and we're gonna put you like that. And then we're gonna take you, and we're gonna put you like that. Almost have all of the aluminum being utilized for stuff. Oops. And okay, so we need to take you out. All right, cool. So now. Come on now. Alright, we want to do this. that done. Okay, so what we're gonna do over here. All right, so we are going to put some more of these. Along the way. Got that. There we go. Righty, cool. So we got that one done. Now we got a couple more to go. Kind of coming to the end of the stream here. So for anybody who's out there, this is probably going to be your last chance to get a story prompt read live on stream, both YouTube and or Twitch. So if you have a story, you want a little short story you want to be read live on stream from using the prompt that is on screen, this will be your, at least for the evening, this will be your last chance to do that. So get him on in if you want it. If you want him read. Sorry I'm being kind of quiet. I kind of ran out of topic. Topic to talk about. I know I'm not as entertaining as some people are, but I try. So please, don't leave me. No, I tried. Wah. Oh, I did them this way. Okay. Well then. Shall hook them up. Ah, itchy head. It's all good. I just remember, like, I dropped by one of her streams, and she said she thought she might see if she could get a story in. So it was just a kind of a curiosity thought. going to do? How do we want to do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a power line. Nope. That's a thing. Power line from here. We're going to make it into a power pole. Then we're going to take this power pole down here. And then we're going to go here and here. Yay! Okay, cool. Oh, no! Yeah, being that I think Liv lives in Australia. So she might. Let's see. I believe they are. Let's see. Like a. I believe it is like 11 hours ahead of where I am. Not entertaining, you say, as if you don't have a batch of 5 of us who regularly show up here and apologize like we just sinned from the end of the stream. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's either that or... Daddy, I've been a bad girl. Oh, boy. I probably opened a whole can of worms with that one, but we're just going to leave that there on the internet now. And, yeah, have fun with it. That's not what I wanted. I want a collector. Talking to your god when you're a paladin versus when you're a warlock. Okay, so I'm gonna get these machines hooked up, and that's probably where we're gonna call it for tonight. Probably got another, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes worth of work here, and then that's probably where we're gonna where we're going to call it. The big belts. I forgot the big belts over here. Right. And why? Yeah, that's right. Everything's plugged up over there. It's constipated! Constipated! Kind of reminds me of, what was it, Peter's butt scratcher? When they're trying to put, what was it, Chris through private school. And Peter's, he went to the game selling butt scratchers! Oh, and by the way, just a kind of a side note. I believe there was a project that I'm a part of. Go look up a channel on YouTube named Drone Stall. DRONESTAHL, I believe. Let me look it up really quick. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, Drone Stall. DRONESTAHL. They just recently put out chapter or part 2 of their fanfiction audiobook, a Murder Drones fanfiction audiobook, where I am the narrator. So go check them out. Give it a listen and let me know what you think. Especially with my dulcet tones in the background. Oh. Let's see. Let me put in the chat what his name is. If you want to go look him up on YouTube. There it is in chat over on Twitch. Give me a second here. I'll put it in over on YouTube. Let's see. No. That is the name of the guy. And yeah, as far as I know, he is both the writer and producer. Writer of the fiction, and he's the producer of the audiobook. I am going to be doing more of his stuff. I just have to actually sit down and do it. So, yeah, be on the lookout for more stuff from that guy. Alright, so that is that one, and I need this one. Yes. Done here. I'm probably just gonna put these mergers together and then that's where I'm gonna call it. Because I am getting kind of sleepy. And my throat is kind of dry and scratchy. That one, there's those two, there's that one, there's that one, and that one. All right, cool. We have almost everything hooked up. I'll probably get these hooked up off stream, but that is where we are going to call it for today. So thank you everyone for coming. I hope you all were all very satisfied. Thank you again to Mama Rednecks for your submission of your story. It was very satisfactory. And I hope to see you again next time. Where probably the next thing we're going to be doing is going to be working on, once again, upgrading the fuel station. Or the power station. Because there is a new recipe that I want to use to try and get more more fuel, or some more generators. And yeah, we shall see what happens there. I have to like double check everything and see what's going on, but that's probably what we're going to be doing. Not 100% sure yet, but that's probably what we're going to be doing. So yeah, thank you all for coming. It was all very awesome, and I hope to see you on the next one. So, you killed me in the road from laughing, sir. I'm sorry. What we're probably going to be doing this coming Sunday, we're going to be going back into MapleStory and going to go through the friend storyline. I know I've talked about it a lot from here and there. I don't think I've ever done it live on stream. It is quite a long storyline. But it is, I want to say it was the prequel that allowed us to get the Kinesis storyline. It opened up the door for Kinesis to actually take place. So we're going to go through the friend story. I have to double check to see if I can reset it on my main character. But if not, I think I have some other characters that have not gone through the storyline. So we should be able to just get in there and do the whole storyline. So that is what we're going to do this coming Sunday, starting at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there or you are a bubbling. And then on Wednesday, starting at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to have a writing stream where I am going to be working on MapleStory, the novel A New Dawn. Probably Chapter 3, maybe even Chapter 4. We'll see. Depends on how much I get done from here to there. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. You feel free to come along and write whatever it... Yeah, my voice is really taking a beating now. But write whatever it is you are working on, or you can just hang out and listen to awesome music if you so desire. And then next week, we shall be having a brand new prompt for the next couple of weeks. And that prompt is going to be... Give me a second here. All right, so that prompt is going to be, you find yourself in a room with only a giant red button. That is the prompt. And thank you, Pans, for that one. If you want to blame somebody, blame Pans for that one. You hate me! But yes, you find yourself in a room with only a giant red button. Oh, to make a full story out of this or just chaos. But yeah, that is for you guys to find out where it's going to go. So I will see if I can put this up on my YouTube channel in the posts section. So that way we can... get stuff going. Hugo, how are you doing? Yes, I am just now ending. My voice has pretty much had it, and I'm getting kind of tired, so sorry you missed it, man. But yeah, we're just getting to the end here. Sorry about that, man. But you're just in time to see the new prompt for next week if you want to get in on it, which is, you find yourself in a room with only a giant red button. But, yeah, that is what we're going to be up to next Friday. And like I said, I think, depending on what I've got open in the research tabs and stuff like that, we're probably going to be doing another rework of the power station, just to see if I can get some more power out of it. But we shall see. So, thank you everyone for coming, and I hope to see you on the next one.
There's a feeling deep inside. Let it be your prayer. Show me the power you can hide.
Thanks everyone for coming to the stream, and I hope to see you again next time. If you want to catch whenever I go live, subscribe or follow to become a coin of the vault so you never miss a thing. Wherever you're viewing from, have a look around my YouTube channel for more stuff, including the audiobooks of Maple Story the novel Sacred Tears, Sly Cooper Rise of Vexen, and Arcane. Each story is fully voice acted with sound effects and background music so that you can sit down and watch or listen to while you go about your day. You can also find all kinds of previous storylines from Maple Story that I've already done. So, until next time, my friends.
Never be afraid to fall. Throw yourself into